Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Thursday. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if you caught Real Housewives of Miami last night, but there was not 1 second of that episode where I was like, "Oh no, I'm not into it." No, instead every second I was like, "Oh, she said what? Oh, she didn't." Girl, and then I feel like I learned a couple things. So there's that. But then also tonight we get the Real Housewives of Orange County, and we also get another episode of the Real Housewives of Miami. But we're not back to talk about that. No. We're back to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because season 6 just dropped their trailer, which was so funny because I was telling Jason, and Jason's like, "Is it already season 6?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Holy sh!" And I said, I know. So lots to talk about, lots to discuss. Smash the like button, show some love, and let's jump right in. All right, guys. So before we jump right in, I did want to let you guys know when we were in New York just a little while back, maybe less than a month ago, we sat down with an amazing company and the CEO and founder, Julia, who I just thought was, oh my God, she was incredible. And she was on Shark Tank. I was so inspired. But we sat down on her podcast, Hello Prenup. I'm giving you a little sneak peek. And then if you guys want to watch the full, yeah, well, I'll let you know where to go. Here we go. Cinderella story. Instead of losing my slipper, I almost got hit by a car.
Adam Newell, creator of Up and Adam, has drawn millions of views with his upbeat, drama-free take on Bravo's biggest stars. He and his husband, Jason, a former Cirque du Soleil performer, turned a Pride weekend meeting into 11 years of marriage and a thriving media brand.
I like how I'm like, it's like a Cinderella story, but instead of losing my slipper, I got hit by a car. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys, I'm an open book. Now, we got to get into this because there is a lot. First of all, Angie K right there in the middle again. But let me just go through the season 6 teaser highlights. I want to go through by cast member because Lisa Barlow, she in this trailer is hinting that there might be some marital turmoil with her husband, John. And she did say that they've been on different pages. And a psychic asked her, "Why do you feel like you're just rebuilding trust?" And she said, "I don't know." Oh, God. Bronwyn also speculates that Lisa may have borrowed money from a mystery man, which we've heard about that before. And clearly that's going to add fuel to the tension. But Lisa slammed Bronwyn and said, "You." And she called her a D-sucker? Oh, my God. Okay. So it's good to know that we're playing nice in the snow, but we're not. And honestly, who wants anybody to play nice? If we're going to be excited about the season, we need the drama. And if we don't have the drama, we're not watching the season. So listen, Lisa Barlow, you're doing the Bravo fans' work. Now, as far as Bronwyn, obviously if you're watching the trailer, she's facing her own trust issues, expressing fear of maybe being misunderstood by her husband, Todd, because there's whispers that maybe there's a mistress. And she said, "What if I'm wrong and I'm going to look like a fool and he humiliates me?" Now, we also see her with her mom, and her mom said that it was like really hard for her to hide Bronwyn's pregnancy, which that makes me so sad for Bronwyn because I feel like anybody, even like when my stepsister got pregnant, it was before she was 18, I believe, or maybe I don't know. It's just like it was so young and there was a lot happening in our house. But at the end of the day, it was a celebration of life. It wasn't anything to hide. It was like, okay, so we're pregnant. This is what we're doing. And I wasn't even the one who was pregnant, obviously. But like looking at it, looking back, I'm sure that overwhelming amount of support was huge for my sister. And so seeing Bronwyn not have that does, I mean, it makes me sad. It makes me like, that's not fun. Now, as far as Meredith Marks, she said, "When somebody shows you who they are, you deal with them accordingly." But Meredith Marks also said that there are a lot of lies this season that are being told. Going back to Bronwyn Newport, I'm wondering if anything has to do with her because while they were filming before cast trips and everything else, at least the big ones, while they were filming, we got news, and it was plastered all over every major media outlet, publication, everything, that Bronwyn had some sort of history with the law. So they didn't mention literally any of that on this. And I'm kind of wondering, like, why did you not mention any of that on this? Is there something that we don't know? Was there something that she was able to shut down? But even if there was, wouldn't it have made the trailer more salacious? I mean, can you shut down the fact that there's charges dating back X, Y, and Z that are still public record? I don't know. But do I want to know her reaction? Yeah. Because we're over here looking at Jen. We're over here looking at Monica. We're over here looking at everybody else like, girl, what have you been up to? Because it looks like you got your hands in the cookie jar. And then over here we have Bronwyn showing up like a hot dog, being like, and then you got a rap sheet? Allegedly. Like, what? Girl, no. Moving on. Angie Katanavas, she also, this one was fun. She experienced this little shocking fallout with Mary Cosby, who snapped because she's like, we're sisters. And Mary was like, find another one. Yeah, it's not just Mary, though. She also gets into it with Lisa. Angie Katanavas, though, like I said at the very beginning of this, in the promo shot, you can see she is absolutely front and center. They didn't even do a new photo shoot. They just reconstructed the same photo shoot that they had. Obviously, they didn't want to add to the budget for that. But going over to Mary Cosby, she talked about Robert Jr. And this one kind of made me sad, but she said, sometimes he has good days and sometimes he doesn't, but he's still battling a mental health addiction and he's doing as well as he could be doing. And she's still a mom, like that. I've seen so many people struggle with like addictions and mental health. And also I think it's different when it's your kid and you can't do anything about it. You could just like give them the tools. So for Mary, I just send all of the love to her family with that, because I couldn't even imagine how awful that would be. But we're going to change the tone because we did get a cross-franchise crossover. So it's kind of like the first of its kind, a little bit in a twist. But the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the cast, they appeared on Below Deck Down Under. This was during a trip to Greece. It was actually kind of funny because in the trailer, you see Captain Jason. He says, we're going to get you nice and wet and get you in the water. And then he was like, wait. No, that's backwards. But going back to Meredith, she emphasized that this whole season will be full of lies and rumors and nastiness. And she was confused. And she said, I don't quite frankly understand 90% of it myself. But season 6 comes out on September 16th. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a supersized premiere episode. And as far as like what fans are saying right now, one person said, about time Lisa's marriage got a real screen time. She's a powerhouse, but her tears hit deep. Another person said Bronwyn's storyline feels like a full-on thriller. Marital mistrust and whispers of infidelity. Sign me up. Another person said Below Deck crossover is such a wild flex. Bravo is pulling out all of the stops this season. Last two was Meredith saying, deal with them accordingly. Sounds like the season's tagline. Bring on the receipts. Finally, Mary's family arc is so raw and real. I appreciate the show balancing glam with real life drama and struggles. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, I want to hear what you think. Are you excited for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? I'm excited that I'm not going to be a part of it in any capacity. There's no phone calls. There's no receipts. I learned my lesson. I'm not trying to help you. Somebody talks about your business. That's your problem. I learned to keep my mouth shut. So if you're sitting over there sinking like a ship, I'm going to sit over here in my little floaty drinking a pina colada, and I'm going to watch the ship sink. That's where I'm at now. But anyways, don't forget to go check out our podcast episode with Julia. Okay. Hello Prenup. That's all you have to look up. Hello Prenup on YouTube or the podcast. I'll even share the screens with you right now. This is where you need to go, but so much fun, literally, guys. And if you want to get to know a little bit more about Jason and I, please, by all means, go check it out. But you can go check it out on YouTube and get the video version. And anywhere you get your podcast, you can just go over there, click on Hello Prenup, the podcast with Julia Rogers, and you can just play the next one. And it should be coming out sometime today. So keep an eye. Love you guys. Bye. And I'll post those links in the description. So see ya.